Hey guys, welcome to Z Agenda, where Z Agenda never stops. Today we'll be talking about the misuse and lack of bounty hunters in this series. First of all, uh, the main progression point of this series are bounties. Considering most characters are pirates, revolutionaries, that kind of stuff. Like Luffy's first real milestone was his 30 million berry bounty. Um, One of the only real prominent bounty hunters is Zoro, who stopped being a bounty hunter at chapter 3 or whatever. Um, and then technically Crocodile was a bounty hunter, and now he's more like a marine bounty hunter, but like, that's kind of whack. We also have the cactus guy from Dressrosa, but besides that and the other lamos from Baroque Works, there's almost no bounty hunters for a series where pretty much the main power progression is how much the main character's bounty goes up. Um, I think this is an issue because when you have bounties with no bounty hunters, it makes the actual bounties feel kind of empty because nobody's coming to collect. It's just kind of like a gold star. Um, Also, even if they're able to collect said big bounty, most people that can literally can't. Like the Revolutionary Army, who might be strong enough, other pirates who might be strong enough, or Marines who might be strong enough, all can't collect bounties. So, who are we setting these bounties for? Is it just for shits and giggles? Like, I don't really get it. Um, and the cross guild bounties on the Marines have only just started, so it kind of feels weird that, like, say you're, I don't know, some wealthy pirate and you want to hit on Smoker. I feel like you should be able to pay for that. Like, it seems kind of weird that the Marines have um, monopolized the bounty system. Like, they're the only ones until recently who were able to issue any types of bounties. And even even the cross guild bounties, those are so lame. Like, 5 stars. Like, this is Dressrosa. I don't want to be talking about Dressrosa. And if we had more bounty hunters, we could potentially get more naval battles where bounty hunters could potentially find the Straw Hats crew out at sea or find other people out at sea, and we can see actual naval battles for a pirate story that takes place at like 90% water planet. But that's just one part. Um, Possible fixes could either be a cross guild like organization, kind of like Baroque Works, but being from the beginning and lasting until pretty much one of the Yonkos is defeated, instead of just Crocodile going down in Alabasta, like, what, 150 chapters in? Um, You'd want an actual Yonko-esque character to run it behind the scenes, so it could feel kind of like power progression for Luffy when he takes them down. Obviously, it kind of worked with Crocodile, but like Crocodile is a warlord Logia who lost to pre-Gears no hockey Luffy. Let's just say that doesn't make sense. Um, so in this situation, you'd have an actual Yonko-esque character who doesn't get beaten down in the first 200 chapters. Um, and they'd be more of a third-party organization threat, where it's like if you want to hit on a revolutionary, you want to hit on a pirate, you want to hit on a marine, you want to hit on a civilian for some reason. If you can pay, you go to this organization, and if somebody brings them in, they get the money that you put up front. Um, and they wouldn't necessarily only have to collect bounties. They could be just like PIs or mercenary types, where you send them to go try to steal a poneglyph rubbing or infiltrate a place to get information to help take down an enemy, stuff like that. It wouldn't just have to be bounties, although ideally they would be using that other stuff to fund their bounty hunts. Um, you could also have this organization could literally have just been the Beast Pirates. We already know that the Beast Pirates had dealings with Doflamingo. We're going after Ancient Zone users. We're trying anything they can to fund Caesar Smile projects. What if instead they used bounties to fund these different things? Obviously, they would take a cut, 10% or whatever, of the price paid up front by the person who put out the hit, and they could use that to fund Caesar's research. Use that to go after different zones or get research on different zones. Even use that to go after different ancient zone users and either kill them for their devil fruit or recruit them to the beast pirates. Um, I think it would also be a nice opportunity for one of the emperors of the New World to not be a pirate. It's kind of weird that all of the New World are controlled by pirates. In this situation, it would be a little more balanced. Like, say you have Big Mom as your monarch type revolutionary who wants to take over the world and anoint herself as queen. Then you have the Kaido and the Beast Bounty Hunters or something. Then you have Shanks and Blackbeard, who be the two more stereotypical pirates, and one being the peace main pirate in Shanks, who just cares for freedom, and the other being the Morganeer in Blackbeard, who's like the pillaging, I'm going to just steal what I want. I feel like that would offer a lot more balance to the new world and the story in the second half of the post time skip, because it's kind of just been pirate, 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 pirate. Pirates aren't the only force in the world. They're not even the strongest force in the world. So I know it's a journey to become Pirate King, but even in this situation, you'd still have other giant pirates like the likes of Blackbeard and Shanks, and Blackbeard's anointment could have been a giant shakeup for the world. Whereas before you would have had two relatively peace main pirates in Shanks and Whitebeard, but then Blackbeard stealing his position would throw the new world into chaos. Um, Whereas now it's kind of just like three pirates who only care about themselves, plundering all of that kind of stuff. And it's kind of like the same note. Oh, Big Mom has a giant army of Paramecia kids. Oh, Kaido has a giant army of ancient zone users. Blackbeard has just a giant army of an assortment of them, and then Shanks can't swim. Right now, that's the only real difference is the type of zones they have. Um, Even like Big Mom and Kaido, they ended up joining forces. They ended up going out lame. Like, I don't think they necessarily had to stay as pirates the entire time. Um, like even the Emperor title in itself, the Emperor title kind of seems that you have ascended piracy. But like, why can't other people become emperors? Like, an emperor doesn't just have to be a pirate. That's kind of odd. And really, like, Big Mom's the only real emperor. Kaido just has Wano pretty much. Shanks is just a good guy, and Blackbeard does not care about his territory. Um, so I don't necessarily think they all needed to be the exact same pirates, and most of them coming from rocks. So I just think that part is also a missed opportunity. And if it's not a one of the four Yonkos becoming a sort of cross guild organization from the get go, then you know what we did have from the get go? The warlords. The warlords make no sense. Why would the warlords not just be bounty hunters? Like, these are paid pirates, but most of the time they just hurt the world government. Why would you not be paying pirates to go after other pirates and then bring them in? Like, that makes way more sense. Even with Mihawk. Imagine if Mihawk was sent after Don Krieg. Um, and that's the reason why he was in the East Blue, instead of he was just bored. So he sailed from the Grand Line to the East Blue in his little dinghy. I don't know, imagine if, like, the warlords we meet all are gunning after the Straw Hat's bounties, because, they'd like to be rich. instead of just Crocodile wanting Pluton. Um, or if Crocodile still wants Pluton, he doesn't necessarily have to be this warlord. Like, it doesn't. The warlords were so incompetent, they had to create the Seraphim, which is just kind of lazy, but that's for a different topic. Um, so yeah, imagine if the warlords were a third-party organization of contracted pirates who would go hunt down other pirates that the typical bounty hunter could not. That would make much more sense, and that would kind of be more reasonable as to why the Straw Hats are clashing with them. Um, because bounty hunters are being sent after them. They have to go like if each warlord with their own little crews were all bounty hunters. That's what 6 different crews of bounty hunters and Mihawk. That's a much bigger threat. That's a much bigger what what warlord will come after us now because we have this bounty? I just think it adds more unpredictability to the series, which is kind of lacking in the Grand Line. Like they told us all of this, it's a pirate's graveyard. Uh, the seas are uncontrollable, but we kind of really haven't had an issue with it outside of the time where we came down the New World. Some of the first few chapters, I mean, some of the first few arcs going into Alabasta, um, and then when we popped out of Fishman Island to the New World. Oh, I meant to say the Grand Line earlier. But it's like the New World has all of these issues. Somehow you can't get to Lodestar, but it doesn't seem like any issue for us to travel unless we need to go vertical somehow. So I just think the unpredictability on the seas, potential naval battles, and all of these other things would vastly benefit from just making one of the existing groups have been bounty hunters from the beginning. Um, and then even if you don't trust outside groups, Sword could have been a bounty hunting group for the Marines, where you say you have the normal Marines, who are like the shield of the world government, instead of I just zero, lamos. Um, and then you have Sword, who would actively go after the big threats. They'd be like the preventative measures. The Marines would be like the reactive, and um, Sword would be the preventative. They'd go out and try to get and stop big pirates. And it would be like their only job. They wouldn't be there for saving people, although I assume most of them still would, but they'd be there for capturing people over 100 mil. Stuff like that. I just think it's an overall missed opportunity. And then you have the two most redundant, useless groups known to man, CP0 and the Gods Knights, where it's like, can one of you do something? You both protect the Holy Land slash Celestials, and you both suck at your job. Fisher Tiger, Emmett, the Revolutionary Army, Fujitora freeing the slaves, Rocks getting into the flower capital, Sabo getting free after seeing Emu, Vivi and Wapple escaping with Morgans. Like, you guys are really bad at your job. But maybe if they were just sent after big name pirates, like, oh, you see a D on a bounty poster, boom, two God's Knights are being sent to that location ASAP. But no. Oh, I know Luffy is a D. I also know he's the son of Garp, and then I eventually know he's the son of Dragon. I also know he has the Gum Gum fruit, which I know is fake because I faked it and know it's truly the Nika fruit. And this forehead shouts out Gum Gum Gatling or Gum Gum Pistol for every other attack. But I'm not sending a God's Knight to his location. Also, why was his fruit left in the hands of CP9? And who's who? Bro, if you don't put that in Shamrock's hands and have him teleport home, you idiots. Ay, 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 just asking for trouble. But that's its own thing. Oh, that's its own thing. Overall, I think if bounty hunters were initially included as big as they probably should be, considering the bounty system, and were more, I guess, inclusive with their bounties being pretty much hits on anyone and everyone, like I'd love to see somebody besides T-Bone be taken out from the Marines. Like, oh my god, Momonga. Oh oh my gosh. Momonga's been taken out by this top tier bounty hunter. And now he's coming for you. But no. We got a bunch of bums as bounty hunters. That's it. And technically, the biggest bounty we've seen collected is from like the citizens of Lelucia when the Revolutionary Army helped them capture Pinkbeard. Uh, yeah. But yeah, that's the video. Like, subscribe, and tune in next time to Z Agenda, where Z Agenda never stops. Thanks.